This week, the HPT crowns a champion from the Prairie Meadows Casino, Racetrack, and Hotel. Our Iowa home once again delivered an impressive field of players and a drama-packed final table. We started our TV final table with 9, and this week we continue the road to the championship with 5 players remaining. Still leading the pack is local salesman Matt Hennig, but the other 4 players are just a swing pot away from putting Matt in their rearview mirror. 5 players, 1 championship, and over 50 grand to the last man standing.
This is the HPT.
Sit right down, put on your poker face, you with the big dogs now. Better bring your best game, talk trash all you want. To me it's all the same, you won't leave with much when you come in second place. I'm the one with the stack showing 7 to the jack. Gon' cry to your mama cause I'm sending you back. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. Last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand.
Hello and welcome again to the HPT for the finale of what has been an amazing final table here at our Iowa home at the Prairie Meadows Racetrack Casino Hotel. I'm Fred Bevel. The pretty lady to my left is poker pro Maria Ho. And Maria, we have had a great time this week here at Prairie Meadows. And as always, we started with a 9-handed TV final table. But now that we're down to 5, I'm sensing the fun has been replaced with a little bit of tension.
Well, playing poker on national television for thousands of dollars and an HPT championship will do just that. The man still leading this final table and has been from the start is local insurance salesman Matt Hennig. Matt has just simply outplayed his opponents so far. He's been patient and aggressive and staying out of tricky spots.
Matt has had control since the very first hand of this final table, but 5-handed is a lot different than full ring. Maria, will Matt need to make some adjustments for this new short-handed dynamic?
Matt, as well as the rest of the table, should start opening up their raising and 3-betting range as the relative starting hand strength in short-handed play goes down markedly. In order to keep up with the pace, the more passive players will have to become more assertive in the pots they play, even if that means having to make a big bluff or a big call in the right situation.
There you have it. 5 players remain, 1 championship up for grabs, and probably a whole lot of drama in between. Let's get down to the floor and get right to the action.
These players sure have something worth playing for. As you can see, top prize is almost $58,000, and everybody left at this final table is going to take away at least 5 figures.
Certainly a lot of money on the line tonight. Here is the updated chip count.
And we still have Matt Hennig leading this final table as we continue play 5-handed, and he's holding strong at $1.2 million in chips. Samuel Overleen and Zalarani are at the bottom of our chip counts.
Even though they're at the bottom of the chip counts, both are close to 40 big blinds, so really no need to panic yet.
Absolutely. There's a lot of play. Thank you, Daniel. We'll probably be saying that all season long.
Indeed we will. Of course, she's referencing Daniel Negreanu's brand new structure on the HPT. We reached out to Daniel a couple of months ago, asked him to design a new structure for our main event. And you know, Maria, he really took a lot of time. It took him about 3 weeks to get it back to us, asked a lot of questions, and really worked hard to give the players value for their dollar.
Everybody knows Daniel to be a poker player's player. He always puts the needs of them first.
The action continuing on here, 5-handed. Matt Hennig, our chip leader, has opened with a raise here to $60,000 with King 8, and right behind him, Samuel Overleen has re-raised to $150 with wired 5s.
All in.
Well, now Matt has 4-bet him all in here with King 8 suited.
That is really strong, and I really like it. Honestly, Sam has shown himself to make some folds, and I think Matt is definitely sensing that and putting him to the test here.
I heard from someone that might be within arm reach that keeping your opponent on the decision is the better way to go, and that has worked out for Matt as he scoops the first pot at this 5-handed final table. Action continuing on. Blinds are at 10 and 20,000 with a 3,000 chip ante. And over to the 2-seat of Zal. He folds.
60.
Over to Nick. Nick is going to raise it with King 10 offsuit. And now we're over to the chip leader, Matt. He folds. Sam folds. Over to Dale Berger, the local favorite here at Prairie Meadows. He's a familiar face in the cash room, sporting the Prairie Meadows wear.
He's representing.
Dale's going to go ahead and call the raise with Queen Jack suited. Here comes the flop.
And the flop is deuce 9 Jack. Couple clubs on that flop.
Well, that pairs Dale's jacks, and right now he has the best hand. Nick has a gut shot straight draw. And Dale's going to lead out into the pre-flop raiser. Makes it 120,000. And look at this. With just king high and a gut shot straight draw, Nick has 3-bet him here.
I was going to say, with Dale leading out, I was afraid he might not get any value since Nick actually didn't connect with the flop, but Nick is deciding to take his pre-flop aggression on the flop as well.
And Dale is making the call here with top pair. So I can't imagine Nick's too happy to see that. I think he wanted that 3-bet to work and just take the pot down right away.
No, but a queen could be a very dangerous card as it gives Nick a straight but makes Dale top 2 pair.
The turn is a 9 of hearts. So Dale's still ahead with top pair.
200.
Dale's going to try this bet into him method again and see if Nick will raise him for a second time.
And Dale does get Nick to fold. What do you think of the aggression on Dale's part here? Do you think he lost some chips, or do you think he played it well?
I think Dale's losing a little bit of value there by betting into him again on the turn. As you can see, Nick was on a semi-bluff, and he probably would have gotten Nick to fire again. And he has to be comfortable with just calling him down with a pair of jacks there. More from this 5-handed final table when we come back from Prairie Meadows.
Welcome back to the HPT. I'm Tiffany Michelle. Let's get back to the action.
There's been a little bit of movement. We see that Dale Berger has moved into the second spot, and he's trailing only Matt Hennig, who is still the chip leader. Sam and Nick are at the bottom, but they definitely still have play left.
Yeah, Sam with just under 30 big blinds. Nick with 18 big blinds. Nick is getting close to that red zone, but Sam's still pretty comfortable.
Definitely, and I've seen Sam starting to get a little bit aggressive, and I think that's going to help him.
Action in this hand will start with the chip leader, Matt Hennig. Matt's had the chip lead since we started play 9-handed. Dale folds. Now we go to Zal, who just puts a mitt full of chips out there, enough to put Nick all in, and Nick is going to make the call.
This is a pretty standard situation. Nick had somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 bigs, and Zal decided that he wasn't going to mess around, and he was going to see if Nick wanted to play for his life.
Well, Zal's going to go to the flop ahead, but Nick with 2 live cards. Maria, you got a quarter on you? Let's flip it.
All right, I call heads.
All right, let's see how it works out.
Good luck, bro.
You got to put up the quarter, though. I don't have any.
I'm going to hit it. I've been hitting these all week.
The flop is 7, ace, queen, rainbow.
Well, that gives Zal his top pair, but Nick also connected, so he's behind, but still has some outs.
Aces. Nick hits a pair of queens.
On to the turn we go.
Cards. He has some outs.
The turn is a 3 of clubs. It's not going to be much help to Nick. He's still going to look for that king or queen on the river to double up.
Nick hoping to find some love on the river and stay alive.
Sounds good.
Here it comes. It is a queen on the river, and look at that. Nick is going to double up.
Sometimes you get in these unavoidable situations, and you get lucky.
I'm not shipping in worse than king queen, dude.
So Nick stacking up 725,000 in chips.
Short stack on your left. All right, nice touch, dude.
And he is no longer a short stack, just like that. Boy, this game is crazy. Blinds continue at 10 and 20,000 with a 3,000 chip ante. Nick's going to get out of the way. Over to Matt, our chip leader.
Matt looks down at king queen. No doubt he's going to be opening this from the button.
Now, people that have been watching the show for a little bit of time are aware that king queen is my favorite hand. It has popped up a lot at this final table. I think I should start playing HPT events.
But then who's going to be here in the booth for me to make fun of?
Oh, I'm not going to make it to the final table. I just want to play an HPT event.
Dale's going to make the call with Jack 10 from the big blind.
Dale's never seen 2 cards he didn't like. The flop is king 9-3 with a couple of clubs.
Dale's flopped a gut shot straight draw, but Matt has top pair with a queen kicker.
And once again, Dale is going to lead into the pre-flop raiser here. Now, Maria, the pros call that a donk bet, but it's not necessarily an insult.
It's just a general rule of thumb, especially when you're out of position, to not bet into the pre-flop raiser. And as we can see here, Dale is exhibiting a betting pattern. Every time he hits a little piece of the flop, he's going to bet into the pre-flop raiser. And I think Matt Hennig is good enough to see that and exploit that.
The turn comes an 8 of diamonds. Now that makes things interesting. Dale now has an open-ended straight draw.
He checks it over to Matt. Matt checks behind him. He is exercising pot control, although I think I would have liked to see him bet about a quarter of the pot there on the turn.
The 5 of spades comes on the river. Dale bets. Matt snap calls and shows his top pair. And what do you think of a bluff on the river after you missed the draw, Maria?
I don't mind too much that Dale tried to take a stab at the pot. It was the only way he could win, except Matt just had a hand that he could call with.
Action continuing on at 10 and 20,000 with a 3,000 chip ante. And this is Sam Overleen. Sam's 27 years old, lives in Baraboo, Wisconsin. I want to visit Baraboo, Wisconsin. It sounds like a cool town.
Are you surprised if I tell you I've never heard of that place before?
Not at all. Sam raises it up to 60,000 with Mom and Dad, my favorite hand. And look at this. Dale wakes up with rockets.
I think you're about to see why you don't play King Queen, Fred.
Yeah, I guess so. He's going to re-raise to 110. And Maria, my spidey senses tell me Dale's going to get paid in this hand. He's been so active.
I don't know what the rule is.
I think he showed down a couple of marginal holdings. And also, Sam's seen Dale play post-flop in a way that I think Sam's going to want to maybe see a flop with him.
You are right again, Maria. Sam makes the call to see a flop. Now watch, King Queen. It's my favorite hand. It's going to end up sucking out here. Okay, maybe not.
The flop is 7-8-3, 2 clubs. Not a whole lot there for King Queen, Fred.
Just be patient. It'll happen. Sam's going to check over to Dale.
Dale has to feel pretty comfortable with betting his hand here, as you could see, as an overpair to the board.
150.
And he is going to bet 150,000. Now, by now, Sam's probably got him on a pair.
Sam really wishes that he had something to play against Dale here, but unfortunately, he's going to have to fold.
Sam just got married last September, as he describes, to the most amazing woman in the world. Let's get to know Sam a little bit better.
Yeah, it's been a blast this week. It's been quite a wild ride. I bought into the 360 satellite. I was short stacked with one spot to go, and I managed to come back and win that, so that was good. And then the whole tournament's just been awesome. I've been really fortunate to pretty much be a big stack the whole time. So I've been able to feel pretty comfortable and bully my way around a little bit when I need to and sit on my stack when I need to too. So it's been a great time. I got married back in September. I had a beautiful beach wedding down in Key Largo. It was a blast. Had a lot of friends and family down there. I'm married to an amazing woman. I am the definition of somebody who's dating above my level. I'm the guy that everyone's like, why? What is she doing with him? You know, that kind of thing. But yeah, and we're going to be having our first kid on the way in October, which I'm very excited about. But otherwise, yeah, she's just a blessing in my life and living the dream right now.
Now that we're short-handed, you can be sure the chips are going to start flying.
A lot of poker left to be played. More poker next. Welcome back to the HPT. A fun final table is happening right now. Maria Ho, Fred Bevel, let's get back to the action.
As we look at our updated chip counts, you could see Matt slowly pulling away from the pack. He has worked his stack up to almost 1.8 million. Dale Berger is still trying to catch him as the only other player over $1 million. The rest of the field is definitely hanging tough, though.
We can see Sam Overleen only with 17 big blinds left in his stack. We'll be looking for him to make a play pretty quick. Blinds continue at 10 and 20,000 with a 3,000 chip ante. Action starts with Nick here. King 9 offsuit is his holding. Looks like a raise. Makes it 65,000 to go.
Although I feel like Matt has been setting the pace at this final table, since we've gotten short-handed, you've seen people like Nick get a lot more active, raising here under the gun with King 9 offsuit. And that's what I like to see from these players, is to adjust and to adapt.
Dale makes the call with Ace 9, so he'll be going to the flop way ahead. So this hand features Nick and Dale as we go to the flop.
And the flop comes 2 aces and an 8 with a club draw.
Dale flops trip aces. He's got to feel pretty good about his hand, especially when you check over to the pre-flop raiser and he does the continuation bet for 100,000.
I like that Dale didn't fall into that same pattern of just leading into him, but I think he feels like this hand's a little too strong to be doing that.
He is slow playing for sure. The turn comes a 5 of spades, so Dale now has the lock on this hand. He can't lose.
And he decides to still check it over and see if Nick's going to take another stab at it. But Nick knows better, and he's going to check behind.
The river is the 3 of hearts. And here comes Dale trying to get a little more money for his hand.
And remember last time we saw that Dale bluffed on the river, but now Nick might not have enough to call him. But remember, when you have a dynamic with the players and you have something like past history of calling somebody's bluff, you might be more inclined to call them again.
Well, Nick makes the right choice and folds here. And Dale continues to close the gap in chips between him and Matt Hennig. Blinds moving up now. They're 12 and 24,000 with a 3,000 chip ante. Action's going to start on the chip leader, Matt Hennig. Matt lives just down the street from Prairie Meadows Racetrack Casino here. Lives in Des Moines, Iowa. He's 31 years old. He just got engaged a few weeks ago. And he is going to raise it up with ace-king here.
All in.
Action folds around to Nick, and he's going to go all in with ace-queen.
In bad shape.
Matt makes the easy call, and a little deja vu from the World Series of Poker final table with Darvin Moon and Phil Ivey.
Yeah, and this is just one of those unavoidable spots. You're 5-handed. Ace-queen looks pretty big to Nick, and unfortunately, you just ran into a bigger hand with Matt holding ace-king here.
If you remember the 09 World Series main event final table, Darvin Moon had ace-queen, Phil Ivey had ace-king, and uh-oh, a queen in the door ruined Phil Ivey's day at that final table.
Well, let's see if Matt can run a little better than Phil Ivey.
Here comes the flop. It brings 9, 5, 6 with a couple of clubs.
So far, Matt's been able to fade that queen. Nick is still going to need a queen or running clubs in order to double up.
Nick hoping for at least a club on the turn for a sweat.
Let's make it exciting.
Let's see the turn card.
The turn is the 6 of diamonds, and it's not quite the queen that Nick was hoping for, but he has a couple more chop outs as a 9 or a 5 on the river will let him chop this pot with Matt.
Nick hoping to stay alive. The river is an 8, and that is not going to do it for Nick. He is going to end up leaving us in 5th place. Let's hear what he thinks about his play and the dynamics of this final table.
I feel a little let down I didn't win the tournament, but I made a nice run, but honestly I wasn't going to be happy unless I won it. I played okay. I made a few mistakes at the end. That guy Dale, I couldn't beat him, and I really wanted to, and just kept betting into him. Probably the biggest mistake I made was betting into that guy all night, but I played all right. Yeah, I don't know if the prize money will be enough for the down payment, but it's a nice chunk, so I'll enjoy it.
Thank you again, Nick. Hope to see you at an HPT event soon. Sam Overleen looks down at 6-7 offsuit. Blinds are still 12-24 with a 3,000 chip ante.
Zal's going to go ahead and raise it up here from the small blind, it looks like, and he has queen 6 off.
The chip leader, Matt Hennig, wakes up with a suited ace.
Call.
I think I would have rather Matt 3-bet him given the fact that he does have the chip lead and he is in position against Zal. But I don't mind the flat call either because it disguises the strength of his hand.
The flop comes 2 5s with a couple of spades. And Zal is going to lead out as expected. He makes it 65,000 to go. And look at this, Maria. Matt is going to re-raise all in.
Well, I guess Matt decided to delay his aggression until the flop. He probably believes that he has the best hand here with ace high, but just in case, he still has the chance of maybe getting Zal to fold out a better hand.
And, you know, I don't think Zal believed he had anything, but he just simply can't call that size of a bet. Let's get to know our chip leader a little bit better.
I live in West Des Moines, Iowa, originally from Waterloo, Iowa, and I work for a large insurance company here in Des Moines, Iowa. Playing the HPT has been great. I've played at other casinos here in Iowa, played 4 or 5 different events. It's a great structure, great tournament staff. It's always a good experience. I'm feeling pretty good. The situation is bigger than normal, obviously, but it's still just a game of poker, and I'm still going to play the hands that I'm dealt. I'm the chip leader, so that makes things a little bit easier for me.
The action is getting fast and furious as we're nearing a champion here at Prairie Meadows Racetrack Casino. Come back for more.
Welcome back to the HPT at the Prairie Meadows Casino and Racetrack. Let's get back to the action.
With 4 players left, we could see a separation of the haves and the have-nots. Matt Hennig and Dale Berger have plenty of chips to play with, while Sam and Zal are both struggling here with just under 400,000.
Both Sam and Zal just 16 blinds each. They just haven't been able to get anything going for them. Seem to be running into bigger hands and having to fold. The blinds continue at 12 and 24,000 with a 3,000 chip ante. And in the background there, you see Tiffany Michelle, our guest sideline reporter here. You have a little history with Tiffany.
I've got a lot of history with Tiffany.
May have seen Maria Ho and Tiffany Michelle on The Amazing Race season 15. Tiffany was on The Worst Cook in America on the Food Network.
She's gotten a lot better after that show.
Back to the action here. Zal has raised it to 70,000 with 7-8. Action now on the chip leader, Matt Hennig. And Matt is going to go ahead and call with a weak ace.
I can really appreciate that Zal is still wanting to keep the pressure on, even though he did just lose a pot against Matt. He's not afraid to jump back in and play.
The flop is 10 deuce 9 with 2 hearts. That gives Zal an open-ended straight draw. And he is going to just get them all in the middle right now.
He made a little bit of an over bet to the pot there when he shoved all in, which sometimes I think can be seen as weakness. Unfortunately, Matt didn't have anything to look him up there.
So Zal stacks a nice little pot there. He desperately needs it. Action in this hand is going to start with Dale Berger. Dale's going to fold, and look at this, Maria. Zal goes all in with king-queen.
Zal's on the short stack, and he also has position, and he's just going to try to get it in here and see if anybody has a hand to call him with.
I'm all in.
Sam wakes up with ace-jack. He is going to call for his tournament life, and Maria, the 2 short stacks, are about to battle here. One's going to be alive and healthy three-handed. The other one, unfortunately, is going to have to leave us in 4th place.
I know which hand you're rooting for, Fred. You always like to prove your point about mom and dad.
I love me the king-queen. Let's see the flop.
Right now.
The flop is 9 king king, and wow, Zal surges in the lead, flopping trip kings here. Sam's gonna need runner in order to stay alive here.
And I believe I've made my point now about king queen. Thank you very much. Sam hoping to get lucky here. He's gonna need a lot of help. Running straight cards or running spades.
Zal is ahead at the moment. Let's see the turn card.
The turn is a jack of club, and that is going to do it for Sam Overly, and he's drawing dead.
Sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Sam got it in slightly ahead, but by the flop, he was almost out, and now he will be eliminated in 4th place.
Great run for Sam. Let's hear what he thinks about the way this final table played out for him.
All right. Good luck, guys. I am exhausted. I just got done playing 3 straight days of poker, and just really mentally exhausting sitting on a short stack there for the last couple hours, trying to battle, you know, getting it in mediocre with hands, trying to steal blinds and all that, and then to go out when I was in the lead, not by much, but it still felt good to get it in good. So at least I'm not going home feeling bad about the way I went out. And with the money I won, I'm going to walk home, walk in the door, hand the check right to my wife.
Thank you very much, Sam. Don't mind bragging. Sam and I are now Facebook friends. Good kid. Matt Hennig peels back King Jack on the button. He is going to go ahead and lead out for 75,000. Over to Dale Berger. Dale, the elder statesman at this final table. Local favorite.
He's definitely been able to keep up with the younger kids, though. I've seen him try to take stabs at pots on a bluff, and he's also been pretty active.
Dale makes the call.
Dale makes the call with gap connectors. Zal gets out of the way. The flop is 7-6-5 with a couple of diamonds. Not a bad flop if you're holding 8-10.
Dale has an open-ended straight draw, and Matt has completely missed the flop.
Dale's going to check it over. Matt's going to oblige and check behind.
I really like that check behind by Matt. He doesn't really see the value of betting here. He knows Dale could be all over that flop. He'd rather let another card come off and see if maybe he could connect.
The turn is a 10 of spades. No straight for Dale there, but he does hit top pair.
He's going to lead into Matt with a bet of 90,000, and I don't see Matt doing much else than folding.
Unless Matt has him on a bluff, which apparently he does, he makes the call.
Like I said, I think this is where table dynamics and game flow play a lot into his decision. He's seen Dale bluff, and I think that's the only reason he's looking him up with such a marginal spot.
The river brings a 5 of spades, so Dale has the best hand here. He bets out 100,000. Let's see if Matt uses that third spade as a scare card.
That doesn't really change the texture of the board, so I think Matt, if he was committed to calling the turn, is going to be committed to calling this river now.
Well, he's not calling, Maria. He's going to raise it up, makes it 350,000.
I like this play a lot. I think he's trying to represent a few different hands here. Maybe the backdoor flush, maybe a 5. Unfortunately, Dale doesn't really seem like the folding type, so although Matt has made a great play, I think he's not going to be able to get Dale off this time.
You are right about that. Top pair is good enough for Dale to call, and he's going to show his hand, and Matt looks a little bewildered at the holding there. But that's the way it goes, Matt. Dale's going to stack over $1 million in chips with that hand.
We'll be back with more exciting three-handed action here from Prairie Meadows.
Welcome back to the HPT. The pressure is building as the players dwindle. We are four-handed on our way to a championship.
I gotta say, I'm not surprised to see Matt still holding the top spot. He has really impressed me with his play. He's been setting the pace, and it's up to the other players to catch up.
Zal still the short stack, but he has added almost $500,000 in chips to his stack, giving him 36 big blinds now. So Maria, a lot of poker left to be played here. As we continue the action, three-handed. Blinds are 12 and 24,000 with a 3K ante. The button is on Matt Hennig, which means he will start the pre-flop betting. Dale is going to call from the small blind with Queen 8. Action now over to Zal Arani. Zal is a young-looking 40-year-old, lives in Chicago, Illinois. He's making his 5th final table in the last 4 months.
Zal's going to go ahead and raise from the big blind with 8-6 suited. I think I would have liked to see Zal make it a little bit bigger. Dale likes to play a lot of pots, and I think Zal would have liked to take this pot down pre-flop, but maybe 50K is just not enough.
Yeah, we've seen Dale call a lot more with a lot less, especially pre-flop. The flop brings 2 4s and a 9, rainbow.
Neither player has improved on that flop, but Zal has the power of position and being the pre-flop aggressor.
Dale checks. Zal makes a bet.
And we see the continuation bet works against Dale, and Zal is going to stack a little under 300,000 in chips. So he continues to grow. Action in this hand will start with Mr. Berger. He's 58 years old, lives in Humboldt, Iowa. Has been working for Gunder Church Furniture for the last 33 years.
Zal will raise from the small blind.
62.
Zal's going to raise it up here from the small blind with Jack 5 offsuit.
Matt calls.
And Matt's going to go ahead and make that call with Queen Jack in the big. I really like Zal continuing to put the pressure, opening up his game a ton since we've been shorthanded, and I'd really like to see him take away some big pots.
The flop comes 6 King 9 with 2 clubs. Zal checks over to Matt. And Matt is not going to continuation bet. He's going to check behind.
I think we're starting to see that there's a little bit of a difference between the way Zal is playing against Matt versus the way he plays against Dale.
The turn brings a 6 of hearts. Still no improvement for either player. Zal is going to lead out here on the turn for 65,000.
Call.
And Matt is going to call.
This is what is called a delayed C-bet here from Zal. He didn't C-bet the flop, but he's going to C-bet the turn, and it doesn't look like Matt believes him.
The river brings the ace of clubs, putting a 3rd club on the board. Matt right now has the best hand. It looks like Zal is going to give up on this.
35.
He checks over to Matt, and rather than checking behind and going to showdown, Matt feels he needs to bet here to win the hand. I guess Matt didn't feel he had a lot of showdown equity in his hand.
I guess Matt was trying to call the turn for the gut shot, and now he feels like the only way to win is to bet the river. I think if Zal followed up his delayed C-bet on the turn with another bet on the river, you could be sure Matt's hand would have gone in the muck.
You know, Maria, the HPT hosts thousands of players over the course of a season, so we thought it'd be fun to introduce everybody to some of our favorites. Let's say hi to this week's player in the field, Mr. Craig Casino.
I like the HPT. I said in an interview recently with you guys that it's like my home game now. I don't play on the river boats. I don't, spend time in a home game. So this is my home game. So I've had some success here, and I just like traveling around, especially when it's close to home. Being that I'm near 60 years old now, people expect me maybe to play a certain way. And I remember in Albuquerque, I got into a hand with Kathy Liebert, and I 4-bet bluffed her, and then everybody at the table wanted to see what the hand was, and she said, "You play like you're 22 years old." So I guess maybe I surprise people once in a while. I don't always play like that. I jump in and out of the different ways, but yeah, I've had a lot of success here. I've had 8 cashes. I'm shooting for 9 today, which would tie the all-time record for cashes, and you guys have been around since 2005, and I just started with you in 2010, so I'm pretty proud of the number of cashes I've had in that period of time.
Craig's done quite well for himself on the HPT, and with a last name like Casino, it makes perfect sense. When we come back, more action from this final table.
Welcome back. Let's check in on our final table.
All 3 players are putting up a fight in order to take down this championship title. Matt Hennig is still leading 3-handed with just over $2 million. Dale has $1.5 million, and Zal is still staying strong with $811,000.
Third place paying out almost $28,000. Second place going home with almost $36,000. Our champion will go home with almost $58,000. Maria, there's about a $30,000 gap between third place and first place, so a lot of money on the line here. Dale Berger now, he's got a suited King 8, and he's going to raise it up.
Blinds are 12K, 24K with a 3K ante. Zal's going to go ahead and re-raise with Jack 8 offsuit. And like I said, he's picking on Dale a little bit. I think he's found Dale to be the easier target of his 2 opponents, and he's definitely showing that by 3-betting him here with Jack 8. But once again, Dale doesn't fail to disappoint, as he is still going to make the call.
And the flop comes with 2 jacks and a 4.
And now Zal's aggression pre-flop has paid off, because not only does he have Dale betting into him after he was able to get so many chips in pre-flop, he's actually flop tripped jacks.
And Zal is not messing around. He is going to raise all into Dale. Maria, it feels like he could have slow played this one a little bit more.
I was just about to say, Fred, that yes, he might have been able to slow play, but I think that since he's seen Dale is willing to call off pretty light, he was probably hoping that Dale had a small piece and might just put in the chips right then and there.
Well, Zal's chip stack continues to grow. He is picking a good time to get hot and stay aggressive, that's for sure. This time he's going to open it up for a raise with 3 deuce and the button. Over to Matt Hennig now, the chip leader. He's got Queen Jack suited. Probably not going to go anywhere. He makes the call. And back to Dale. He's going to get out of the way.
And now Zal and Matt are going to battle in this hand, and hopefully Zal's going to use some of that aggression that he feels so comfortable using against Dale against Matt.
The flop brings ace 4 jack rainbow, so Zal has hit a straight draw, but Matt has connected his jack. Maybe that ace will slow both these players down a little bit.
Zal's going to bet and represent this ace hopefully to Matt, but he also has a gut shot just in case Matt does come along.
And Matt does indeed come along. He makes the call with second pair. The turn is a king of spades. No help to Zal. Matt still has the best hand, and he's going to check it over. And a second barrel comes out of Zal's stack, this time for $75,000.
Matt has turned a backdoor flush draw and a straight draw to go with it, so now he's going to definitely call another barrel.
Matt continues to check call onto the river. It is a deuce of spades. So that gives Zal bottom pair. Matt has the winning hand here.
235.
And this time he's not checking. He is going to lead out. Makes it $235,000, and that is just an uncallable bet.
Flush.
I'm wrong again. He does make the call with a pair of ducks. Maria, help me out here. Why do you look a guy up in this situation?
I'm actually shocked that Zal made that call. He really can't beat anything. Most of the draws on the turn got there if Matt wasn't already there to begin with. I don't really see that this is a spot Matt would be bluffing very often. He can't represent a whole lot, and I think Zal just decided to get stubborn, but unfortunately, I don't like that call.
Just under $1 million in chips is going into the chip leader stack, and it seems like all the chips that Zal has acquired in the last few hands just went right into the chip leader stack. That's the wrong direction. Action moving on now. Dale Berger folds. Back over to Zal. He's going to raise it up.
Zal actually hasn't made much of a misstep here as we've gotten shorthanded, but against Matt right there, I think he's kicking himself a little bit.
He is going to make it 62,000 to go. And look at this. Matt continues to wake up with playable hands. He's going to make the call with King 10 suited.
I do admire Zal's tenacity, still raising it up from the small blind into Matt's big blind after losing that pot. He doesn't want to give up.
The flop is Queen Deuce 6 Rainbow.
Neither player has connected with this flop. Matt still holds the best hand, though, with King High.
Both players check the flop. Onto the turn we go. It is a king.
And now Matt has turned top pair. Zal is going to go ahead and check it over to him.
Matt is not checking. He's going to fire 50,000 and a quick call from Zal.
This is a very interesting call by Zal. I think what he's trying to do is float Matt out of position and hope a scare card comes on the river for him to lead into him.
The river far from a scare card, a 3 of clubs. And now Zal is going to do what Matt did to him earlier. He's going to fire on the river, makes it 150,000. And Matt looks a little bewildered here.
I think Matt's a little confused. He's not really sure what hand Zal's trying to represent. The flush and the straight draws from the turn didn't get there on the river, but Matt's actually wondering if he could be beat here.
I don't think I can fold for 150.
But as he says, he can't really fold top pair in this situation, and unfortunately Zal made a good move at a bad time, and Matt's going to win this pot too.
Prairie Meadows Racetrack Casino Hotel is a fantastic host for the HPT. Our guest sideline reporter Tiffany Michelle had a chance to talk to the man who runs the place.
I'm Tiffany Michelle here with Gary Palmer, who is the president and CEO of Prairie Meadows Casino and Racetrack, which is our wonderful host casino this week on the HPT. Now, Gary, I spend a lot of time in casinos, so what is your secret? Because this property is lovely. Why is Prairie Meadows Iowa's favorite place to play?
I guess it's because our customers are our everything. Everything we focus on is customer relations, and it pays off. It's paid off for 25 years now.
Well, we are definitely coming back here on the HPT, so what can we look forward to in the future? What kind of new things can we expect from Prairie Meadows?
Well, you can see now we're doing a lot of remodeling on our second floor. That'll be a continuation for the next 2 years. So every time you come, something will be different, new and nice. So we're building all the time.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much for being here.
For the HPT from the lovely Prairie Meadows Casino and Racetrack, thank you so much, Gary Palmer.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back with more exciting three-handed action here from Prairie Meadows.
Welcome back to the Prairie Meadows Racetrack Casino Hotel. We are three-handed. Let's check the updated chip count.
Matt Hennig is emerging as the one to beat here three-handed as he has pulled away with almost 2.7 million. Dale Berger is still fighting though with 1.3 million, and Zal has unfortunately lost some chips and is a little bit under 15 big blinds.
Zal just a few moments ago was just flirting with 40 big blinds. Now he's knocked down to 15 big blinds. Hopefully he can right the ship and get the momentum back in his favor. Blinds have gone up now. They're 15 and 30,000 with a 4,000 chip ante. Dale Berger folds to start this hand. Now we're over to Zal. Zal's going to go all in with the suited Queen Jack. Over to the chip leader again with a big hand. This time it's Ace 10.
This is going to be a really standard call for Matt. Zal's only shoving for 15 big blinds from the small blind, and they are just three-handed. This is a very easy call for Matt.
And I think Zal knows that. He's sitting there like, I know you're going to call. I just hope I have live cards.
Have you ever had that experience where there's just one player at the table that you can't seem to beat?
Yeah, I have that experience, only it's all 8 of them. Matt does make the call, and Zal's tournament life is going to be on the line.
Zal, for the most part, has played a really tough game three-handed. Let's see if he could survive and double up.
Zal is hoping to get lucky and outflop Matt here to stay alive at this final table. Here comes the flop.
Let's go ahead and see the flop.
The flop is 10, Queen 5, Rainbow, and Zal is going to pull ahead with a pair of queens on this flop.
Matt connected with this flop as well, but Zal does have the lead. He's hoping to fade an ace or a 10 in the next 2 streets. Here comes the turn.
Let's see the turn card.
You do it.
And the turn is the 6 of diamonds, 1 street down, 1 more to go, and Zal is going to double up and live to see another hand.
Oh, in poker, is there a worse street than the river? It seems like that's where all the bad news comes from. Zal hoping to not see an ace or a 10. Here it is.
And Zal had a reason to fear that river because it is a 10, and Matt is going to eliminate Zal in 3rd place.
Zal, great run, my friend. Let's hear his thoughts on how he played today.
I'm disappointed, obviously. I came in here liking my chances quite a bit. Looked like, other than Kessler, who was small, I had the most experience, the most cashes, and I played with most of the players most of the day, and I felt I could use my repertoire against them. So yeah, when I went to dinner, I said I thought it'd be the 3 of us, 3-way, and it turned out to be that way. Not the way I expected it to, but I thought the 3 of us would be playing 3 ways. Thought it'd last a little longer than it did. But I think Matt he deserves the win. He played well. And he's got the chips, took a bad beat to Dale, and now he's come back and in prime position for it.
Thank you, Zal. We are now heads up for the HPT Championship. The winner going home with almost $58,000. The loser, almost $36,000. Both these men have a lot to be proud of, but let's get to the action. Blinds are 15 and 30,000 with a 4K. In heads up poker, the small blind is the button, and first to act pre-flop, that is Matt Hennig, our chip leader. Our first heads up flop, and it is 5, Jack, 8, rainbow.
And Matt has turned his 8-5 into 2 pair here on this flop. But wait, Dale has flopped top pair, so you'll be sure there's going to be fireworks.
And heads up, any pair is gold. Top pair against 2 pair. You can almost see the train coming down the tracks. Matt is going to raise it to 175. 115 now for Dale to call, but of course he's going to raise. Why wouldn't he with top pair?
Dale looks like he's on a collision course head first into Matt's 2-pair train right now by raising his bet to $290,000.
And Matt might go ahead and put him on the jack now and think he's got him right where he wants him. He's going to re-raise again, this time to $2 million.
And Matt is going to re-raise him all in. I really like that Matt's fast playing this hand. Dale has shown that if he has a piece of it, he's going to go with it. Dale's getting the bad news now that he is behind to Matt's 2-pair. However, if Dale can turn a jack or a deuce, he'll pull out in front.
Big drama as we go to the turn. The championship on the line, and the first hand heads up.
Let's go ahead and see the turn card.
And the turn is a queen.
And Dale is still going to need a jack or a deuce, and a queen will also help him win this pot as it'll counterfeit Matt's 8s and 5s.
Matt Hennig has been the chip leader this entire final table, and now he's hoping for a blank on the river to close the deal and be our newest HPT champion.
Or else he'll be our second place finisher. Let's go ahead and see that river card.
And he's going to do it as he improves to a boat, and Dale is going to be eliminated in second place.
Congratulations to both of these players. They played a great game, gave us a very entertaining final table. Unfortunately for Dale, 2 monsters collided in the first hand heads up. Let's go down to Tiffany Michelle. She's standing by with Dale Berger.
I'm here with Dale Berger from Humboldt, Iowa. Dale, as we say in poker, congratulations and condolences. Second place is always a tough one. How are you feeling?
Oh, a little disappointed, but the best I've ever done in a tournament, so I can't complain.
$35,000, is that some pretty good money for you to take
Awfully good money, awfully good money.
What do you think you're going to do with it?
We're going to pay some bills and put a little away and hopefully play some more poker.
But the hour belongs to our champion, Matt Hennig, going wire to wire. Started out as the chip leader and took it all the way through to the championship. He's standing by with our guest sideline reporter, Tiffany Michelle, to talk about his win.
Thanks, guys. I'm standing here with our new HPT champion, Matt Hennig. Sounds like you got some friends and family behind you who are pretty excited about $57,709.
Absolutely. I want to thank those guys for coming out. It's been a great tournament.
And lastly, everyone, of course, wants to know, what are you going to do with the cash?
I'm going to put it in the bank and maybe pay for the wedding a little bit. You know, play a little more poker and maybe take a nap with it tonight or something.
Thank you very much, Matt, and congratulations again. You know, going wire to wire, that's an impressive feat. And thank you also to Tiffany Michelle, our guest sideline reporter this week. You two seem to know each other a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely no secret. Tiffany is my BFF. and it was so good to have her join us on the HPT.
Yeah, she knows how to have a good time. We always love seeing Tiffany, and I think we'll see her again on the HPT real soon. Now, do you think you have what it takes to sit down at a 9-handed TV final table? We'll log on to hptpoker.com to find an event near you. For Maria Ho and the fabulous Tiffany Michelle, I'm Fred Bevel. We'll see you next time on the HPT.
Oh, I can wait you out, but I'll take you down. And I'm the one with the stack showing 7 to the jack. Gonna cry to your mama, cause I'm sending you back. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. Last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand.